Welcome all to the 30th episode of Staying in the Fight to Defeat Rectum Cancer. I'm going to jump a gun a bit here. I know I was supposed to share a video relating to my experiences after the second op, but I'm not going to miss this opportunity to share some of the moments that happened to me whilst I was in hospital, especially 6 or 7 hours after my second op. Like I said, I was wired up, could hardly think, could hardly talk, could hardly see. Everything was just a blur. I could hear things, delirious, of course, hearing things. And one particular thing that stands out, I had a lot of visitors on that Saturday after the op while I was in ICU. And of course, the hospital only allows 2 people at a time, especially in ICU. And I was lying there, but at that moment, it seemed that my bed was turned and facing the afternoon sun, and I was enjoying the afternoon sun. Now, this is not factual. That's how I thought, and that's how I felt at that time. And I knew there were 2 people that were there that came to see me. And I knew that one of them was Sandy because she was holding my hand. And later on, I confirmed that the other person was Wayne, my son. And I started talking to them before I even saw who was them. I said, I'm hitchhiking, and I'm hitchhiking for Jesus. So, and at that time I opened my eyes and I saw Wayne and Sandy across the bed look at each other very strangely. And I shut my eye because I was tired, and I said, I can actually picture this old road, untarred road, a road that's used for horses and wagons. And that's how I pictured the scenario. And I'm standing next to a broken gate and apparently hitchhiking for Jesus. And I was also saying, I wonder what Jesus will come with. Was it going to be a gray donkey or a fawn donkey? And then that moment passed, and we spoke about it briefly, the 3 of us, but I know they must have thought this man is gone cuckoo. He's about to leave us, he's hallucinating. But I know what I know, and I know what I dreamt, whether it was a dream, whether it was a visitation, I've got no clue. But it's still very vivid in my mind, and I just wanted to share this. I'm lying in bed this afternoon. I thought, I can't let this moment pass, because from the onset, from my first video, I did say that I will be honest and share all my experiences that happened to me, everything that happens to me during this process. And this second thing later on, when the visitors were gone, I saw myself standing and looking at my bed. I'm still in ICU, but I'm picturing myself standing and looking at my bed and looking at me on my bed. But the difference is, I wasn't lying on the bed. The bed, I was elevated about 300 mil off the bed. So in other words, I was on the bed, but not in the bed. So I was elevated. And I looked at myself, I thought, wow, Francis, your time has come. And these are the thoughts that was going through me whilst looking at myself. And of course, that also passed. Like again, I'm not sure whether it was a dream, whether I was hallucinating, or whether I was having a moment. But these things are very vivid up until today. And they're very strong in my mind, because now and then when I'm doing whatever I'm doing, these things pop up. So they are my reality. And I just thought I'll need to share them with you on this video. I mean, you guys have been part of my journey for a while, so all these things that happened, whether it's negative or positive, or things that I hallucinated. But yeah, just to share. And yeah, it wasn't a moment that I would like to repeat. Some of the things that I went through in that ICU environment, gosh, there's so many things that I experienced, and that makes my blood actually gets cold, because I really was on the brink of death. You know, like I mentioned, even my doctors that were working on me were not so sure whether I'm going to pull through. But yeah, here I am making another video to the testament that God is good. God is alive. God takes care of you. Thank you.